My name is Bill Flood and my layout is Derwent Road. The layout can be operated by one person, but it's a little bit taxing. It's easier to work with one person doing the out front bit and somebody else behind the scenes manning the fiddle yard, checking stock, moving locos from one end of the trains to the other. Operation itself is fairly simple. We've got sand trains going anti-clockwise around the layout, empty sand trains going clockwise, and the passenger trains run into the station, run round and run back again, because the premise is that the Preservation Society has only got control of the line as far as Derwent Road, and that's as far as the light railway order has been granted, and so the passenger trains aren't permitted to go on further north from the station. The track plan was designed to give some space, because one of the things I really don't like in a model railway is lots and lots of track and nothing in between. So thinking about what we actually need, we need to have a run-round loop and a couple of sidings, and also wanted to have some space to see the trains running through the scenery. The previous layout, Buttermere Mining, was all running through scenery basically, and that I think is very attractive to see the trains just trundling along. The track I've used on the layout is the Pico 009 track. It isn't a perfect fit. The sleepers are perhaps a little bit too close together, the sleepers are perhaps a little bit too short, but when it's in and ballasted carefully and painted, it actually looks good and it runs well. The only modification is a little bit of modification to the points to make them more DCC friendly. It just means that point blades are actually bonded to the stop rails. The back scene is a print done by a local printer. I was going to go and visit Leighton Buzzard. That's a 2-hour trip from home, and the idea of getting there and it being nice and sunny was going to be a problem. The town I work in, called Thornbury, was actually built at the same time as Leighton Buzzard, and the houses are identical. It's almost as if they're from a standard set of plans. So I took the picture for the back scene in Thornbury and took 6 photos and used Photoshop to stitch them together and trim them. The buildings are mainly brick sections, and then bridging under the windows, it's usually wooden panels. I hadn't got any access to buildings, so it was a matter of taking photos and counting bricks and knowing the size of a brick and the size of a brick course to work out how big the buildings were. Then a little bit of scaling to reduce the size because they were still too big. On my initial sort of diagrams and sketches for the layout, there were going to be about 5 houses, but when I actually started to try and work out how big they were going to be, they wouldn't fit in the space. The fences are basically lots and lots of little tiny bits of wooden strip wood that have been chopped up using a chopper to the right lengths and then stuck together with PVA glue. After being stuck together with PVA glue, then a wash of alcohol with ink in it and some acrylics, and the screw holes are basically fine felt tip pen dots. So it's quite a tedious process and quite simple materials, but I think it does the job, it looks quite effective. When I first started using DCC, the thing that struck me straight away as soon as you started running a layout with it is that you could put a loco anywhere and leave it anywhere. You're not being bound by section switches, and since then all my layouts have been DCC. Also largely no control panels because you control things from the throttles. Sound is the other big one, the big selling point for me really with DCC. In fact, you've got the control over the individual functions, and we've now got about 10 locos on Derwent Road that have got sound in them. 09 is a bit of a challenge because small locos with only 4 wheels, it's difficult to get a big decoder in there, so it's quite small decoders and you can't get a stay alive chip in there. So we are a bit prone to interference from dirt during running sessions, and so we end up having to do track cleaning during running sessions. The ambient sound thing is something that I first discovered and thought about and used on Buttermere Mining. It seemed quite nice to have the background sounds of birds. Buttermere Mining was set in the countryside, and so I found a program runs on a PC called Atmosphere. And Atmosphere basically lets you select a scene, so you can choose a country meadow, for example. You can turn seagulls on and off and turn the wind up and down. So the soundtrack running behind Derwent Road has got, in addition to birds and everything else, has got traffic passing, and has also got some loco sounds added on top. As a starting point for the trees on Derwent Road, some of the work by Gordon Gravitt in his books on tree making. So the tree armatures are copper wire, then with some sort of filler mixture around them painted, and then various types of foliage glued onto them after the tree's been painted. Scenic details on the layout have come from all over the place. Things like the telegraph poles, the phone box are Pico products. The lamps, street lamps, I made out of brass tube because I couldn't find anything anywhere that fitted the design I wanted. The benches, again, I think are a Pico product. The rest of the buildings are scratch built. In a year, Derwent Road will probably go to 2, 3, perhaps 4 shows. Derwent Road was designed to fit in the back of my small Ford. So the limit on the baseboard length is round about the sort of 42 inches, and the width about 18 inches, so that the 2 baseboards will fit across. And the whole of the layout and the legs and all the stock and interior second person will fit into the car. The layout's taken me so far about 3 years to build. It's now largely complete. There will be a few details added, a few bits refined. I think I've already got some offers of shows coming in for 2020, so it'll certainly be staying on the circuit for that long. But a new layout will be started. There are some possibilities. One of my current thinking is something based on the Alan Keith's works. Alan Keith builds and repairs locos, and it's just a fascinating idea to have a completely random selection of locos on the layout of different gauges. So I'm thinking that might mix on the new layout 9mm gauge and 14mm gauge with perhaps a mixed gauge track, which will allow me to run some of the 14mm gauge locos I've got currently building on that layout.